guys. Okay, he is a national security and political analyst, founder of Independent Veterans of America, and host of the podcast Independent Americans with Paul Rieckhoff. Paul Rieckhoff is over here. And he's a New York Post contributor and best-selling author of On Democracies and Death Cults, Israel and the Future of Civilization, Douglas Murray. Great to see you, gentlemen. Perfect panel. Let's just have three guys talking about war, shall we? A little brofest here, guys talking war, because that's what everybody's thinking about. Now, you and I think, were on the same page when this started 6 weeks ago. I mean, we thought it was the right thing to do to take this shot now to deal with Iran once and for all, not just because of the nukes, but they did say in their own negotiations that they were weeks away from having 11 bombs. To me, that was pretty clear, not to mention what they do to their own people. And we just don't think jihadists and people who believe in martyrdom can have nukes. Okay, so I thought it was worth taking the shot. 6 weeks later, I think we're at a different place, because I read your column today. You think we got to finish this no matter what it takes. I was never on that page. I was on the page, this is a great opportunity. Hey, we see them all in one place. We can wipe out the whole leadership at once. It looks like they're ready for an uprising. Take the shot, Mav. Take the shot. We did it, and it didn't work. Now what? Do we cut and run, or do we stay the course? I hope Donald Trump is the abandoner he's always been. I hope he is the guy who has never not abandoned anything in his life except his love for tariffs. And I hope he does what America always done. These people who say, you know, we'll get a reputation for cutting. We always cut and run. We did it in Vietnam. We did it in Iraq. We did it to the Kurds. We did it in Afghanistan. We did it in Beirut. That's us. No lifeguard on duty. If you get in with us, we are going to fuck you, okay? And that's Donald Trump. He's an asshole, but he's our asshole. Douglas?
I disagree. I disagree because I think once started, you have to finish this. I don't agree that it's failed. It's been an incredibly successful operation in lots of ways. Supreme leader dead, Iranian Air Force destroyed, nuclear sites attacked again, the navy of the Iranian Revolutionary Government at the bottom of the ocean. These are not small things. No. It's not the case that the Iranian Revolutionary Government has come out of this well. I know some people are wanting to say that after 4 to 6 weeks of war, this is some kind of loss for America. It isn't. It's been an amazing strategic success, but everyone wants to know what the out is. Now, there are several problems about that. The first is that at the beginning of this, there was a belief, a hope, that the Iranian people might seize the opportunity to rise up and overthrow the government. The fact is that that hope was always marginal because, as we always know, when a dictatorship like the Revolutionary Islamic government has the guns and the population doesn't, you're asking the population to do a hell of a thing. That didn't happen. The regime is still in place. It doesn't mean it's going to be in place for perpetuity. It's perfectly possible it could still be toppled in the coming months by the people. But the crucial thing is the main objective of the war achieved or not? And the main objective is not just can the government in Iran get nuclear weapons in the foreseeable future, but can they in some future presidential term in the US? As I see it, that is the bit that has to be addressed. Simply whether or not the Iranian administration, the government there, ever has in our lifetimes the potential to have breakout to nuclear weapons. My belief is that this is the one shot to make sure they don't. That the opportunity to make sure that the Iranian Revolutionary Government doesn't get weapons is seized now.
But then we would have to put boots on.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. There can be an agreement.
How can we make sure? No, say it. Say your
Holy
piece.
shit, where to start? Here we are again, Bill, right? Talking about another unpopular war in the Middle East that most of the country doesn't support. And people that I served with and folks that I know are going to continue to go and fight and die while a lot of the country lives life uninterrupted. There is a reemergence of a new generation of chicken hawks. People who have never served, people who don't have kids in the military, and they're happy to send our men and women to die in a war in the Middle East. But hold on. You found, I guess, the one guy outside of Pete Hegseth who thinks that the last 2 weeks has been a victory. This has not been a victory. I'll give it an incomplete at best. They had a series of shifting rationales, but none of the rationales that even they put forward have been achieved. The regime is still in place. The Strait of Hormuz is not open. There is no securing of the enriched uranium, and the military still has some pretty sizable capacity. But I think the bigger issue here, right, is Donald Trump can do anything he wants with the most powerful military the world has ever seen, and nothing is stopping him. And it's not just about Iran. So you have to ask yourself, not just are you against the war in Iran, are you against forever war? Because he's not stopping with Iran. He's all gas, no brakes. He's already talking about hitting Cuba. He's already floated the idea of Colombia. He's hit over 8 countries and counting, and he wants to put federal troops in places like Chicago and New York. And there will be no days off. He is not going to stop until he stops.
Let's stick to Iran.
Most of the country
now we're in
wants
Chicago.
this stop.
They
are in Chicago.
I know, but it's a whole different issue.
No, it's not a different issue. It's really important. It's really important. It's not a different issue because this is the plan. 2025 was about dominating America. 2026 is about dominating the Western Hemisphere. And that includes in his vision board places like Greenland, which he's now talking about again. So we have to at some point ask, will Congress step up? Will anybody give him any guardrails? Or are they just going to let him go? They've been like mall cops. They're not slowing him down at all. And he keeps going forward. And nothing is stopping him. So we have to ask ourselves, what will stop him?
We'll see.
Just to focus on the nuclear issue again for a moment. It has been the consistent policy of Democrat and Republican administrations in this country that the Iranians shouldn't be allowed a nuclear weapon. Firstly, because they're about the only regime on earth that would like to use one and sees mutually assured destruction as a rather attractive proposition. And secondly, because we know that the whole Middle East would go nuclear after they go nuclear. So if we just remain inevitably... Okay. Well, let's say it's a bad...
We can fearmonger and say everybody's going to get it and the nukes are the problem.
But you've got to
the reality is the nukes are still there.
You've got to admit that the world's most dangerous region getting the world's most dangerous weapons would be very undesirable.
I agree with that.
Agree on that?
I agree with that. But here's the point.
What is the one country that can do something about that? America.
He took his shot.
Yes.
And he missed. And so how many more shots are we going to take?
That's what I'm saying.
How many more shots are we going to take? Listen, and I think, and I would have argued, if he was going to take, you can make an argument. I don't want them to have a nuke. I do not, the regime is awful. I would be happy to see them removed and that threat removed. The question is, can you achieve that objective? And he has failed in achieving that objective. And there's a right way to go about it, to get the country behind it, to get congressional approval, to get an alliance of allies who can stand with us, to have a country that has the stomach for what might be a very long fight. And the biggest mistake a president can make is to send troops before they commit a country. And the country is not committed, but our troops are. And every time that happens, it leads to disaster. From Afghanistan to Iraq to Vietnam. So it's an admirable mission, but if you can't we have the most powerful military the world has ever seen, but if you can't get the country behind it, he's right. They will quit.
The first thing is, look, everyone wants success. Everyone wants it to be a short, sharp war, and it hasn't been that yet. It doesn't mean that after 6 weeks we can say this has been a disaster. The one thing I would add to that
I didn't say disaster.
The one thing I would add to that is international alliances. Don't bet on it. Every European country...
Don't bet on it?
Look, every European country...
We bet on it every time. Sure.
Every single European country has the same policy this one does, that the Iranians shouldn't be allowed a nuke. What have they done about it? Nothing. The German Chancellor said last year, when the Americans and Israelis last went in to bomb the reactors, he said, our policy in Germany is that the Iranians shouldn't get a nuclear weapon, but the Americans are doing our dirty work for us. Now, that's an ally that you want to get on side. No, they're on side in principle. It's just they're not going to commit anything. It's only America that is...
So we should shit on our allies and pull out of NATO?
I don't think you should.
But that's what the president wants to do. That's what the president wants to do.
I agree. I don't think there should be any shitting.
If you go into a bar fight, you need every friend you can have. Absolutely. And he's throwing away our most valuable friends, including the Ukrainians. Right? He's pushing away Ukraine. He's denying support for Ukraine. And Zelensky today said that the Ukrainians have shot down threats that would have killed Americans. Look, so let's focus on...
We're one on Ukraine. Right? We're one on Ukraine.
Let's focus on getting friends if you're going to go into a bar fight. And that's another reason he failed. Because he's been a strategic failure and he hasn't assembled the resources to do the thing that he wanted to do.
He has assembled resources. You've got the UAE, you've got even Qatar, you've got the Jordanians, you've got almost every other country in the region because the Iranians have been throwing...
You think American soldiers feel great about that?
No,
they don't have the British, they don't have the French, they don't have all of our NATO allies. And you've got the Italians denying us airspace, the Spanish are denying us airspace. The whole world is pissed off at us. And so
you
you
have
have
not pissed off at you.
Okay, most of the world is pissed off at us, and it's going down by the day. He is destroying the trust that has been built over generations, and he's taking the reputation of the American military down with him. When he says he wants conquest, when he says we want conquest. Right? We said we're going to take the oil. We are not marauders. We are not mercenaries. When Americans send men and women to die, the only thing we ask for is a place to bury our dead. Nothing else.
Absolutely.
Nothing else. And that's how it should be. But he's blown all that apart. And the world does not trust him. So therefore, they don't trust us. And no matter how admirable his goal is, the outcome matters. And right now, the outcome is not a victory. At best, it's incomplete.
We're 6 weeks into it.
So how many weeks is okay? How many weeks is okay?
Can I answer that, though? Why? Because I'm on somewhat at the same page with you. I just think that this is the second time we have tried to do this in the Middle East. We tried it in Iraq. That was the wrong country to do it. Bush used to talk about, we need to have a democracy in the heart of the Middle East, pretending we don't have one called Israel. But okay, an Arab, a Muslim democracy. This is the second time we basically tried to do that, because that's really the end game here. Let's have a democracy, an Arab democracy that's not a theocracy in the middle of the Middle East. It just didn't work. Now we have what they called sunken cost fallacy. In the Iraq war, they had that saying, don't go all the way to Baghdad, because that's what George Bush's father did. I use it like in my regular life. People don't know what I'm talking about, but I just love the metaphor. Like I said, it's don't go all the way to Baghdad. You know, you don't have to marry him. Just have fun. Don't go all the way to Baghdad.
I went to Baghdad, and Baghdad was the easy part. But this is securing the pieces. And here's the question that you and no one else have answered.
Just to finish this a second, this is what I think is the choice. Do we go all the way to Baghdad, like Bush II did, which was a mistake, or do we do what his father did, with limited goals and then, okay, sorry, we'll try it again in another 20 years. It's just not the right time now.
As I said,
it's not happening. These people are not giving up. And we're going to be fighting the Japanese in World War II. That's the kind of tenacity they have. And it just is not going to look good.
Well, and the question remains, right? Who's going to secure that country? Let's say you eliminate the nuke threat. Let's say you remove the regime. Who are going to be the boots on the ground that are going to provide security for the Iranian people? Because I was in Baghdad, and I got stuck providing security for the Iraqi people. And right now, hold on. This is where you have to answer the question. They said it was going to be the Kurds. That's not on the table. Is it going to be the Israelis? No. Is it going to be Americans? We don't know. NATO's not going to help. So is there going to be some free Iranian army that all of a sudden feels secure and is going to rise up? Who is going to provide security in the years that follow as they try to rebuild a democracy?
We're not, but
answer the question. Who's it going to be?
I'm arguing for a very, very specific thing, which is to try to make sure that they do not get nuclear capacity.
Which is admirable and could be the easy part.
Okay, so that could be the easy part. So why, having started it, why don't we finish that part?
What does finish it look like?
Make sure that in our lifetimes and in the foreseeable future, they do not have the ability to break out and get nuclear weapons.
Because to reach that goal is just too high a price. That's why. To reach, I agree with the goal. But we tried it, and if to pay the price that of only a 6-week war with just aerial bombing and then the people rise up, I was all for it. The price for this is going to be incalculable.